Bloomberg's Washington Bureau Executive Editor Al Hunt is with us. He sat down with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for an exclusive interview. Al, thank you so much for joining us. You talked to the Speaker about, I guess, the news of the day, the BP oil spill. The administration and the Democrats have been getting some grief about the federal response to this. What did she have to say?
She's still pretty supportive of Barack Obama. She talks about the contrast with the Bush administration. She charges that that administration was too cozy with the oil industry. However, she also said that the head of the mineral mining services, that Barack Obama said, geez, she resigned. Speaker Pelosi said she was fired because she hadn't cleaned up the place enough. And she was very, very tough in the oil industry.
And I'm satisfied with his impatience and his persistence in pursuing every channel to subjecting every aspect of it, the role of the oil companies, the role of the regulators, everything and everything in between, to the harshest scrutiny.
Al, the Speaker, at least at this sense, as you said, sticking by the President in this. But what's the political liability long-term for the Democrats and for the White House?
Well, it's considerable for Barack Obama. It's potentially his Katrina. Even Karl Rove, who was the architect of the Katrina disaster under George W. Bush, is now saying that Barack Obama has not been responsive enough. So unless they undo some of the damage that they've done with their seemingly passive attitude, they, by the way, being the White House, vehemently deny they've been passive, but that's what they've conveyed. Unless they can change that perception, and perhaps they did starting with yesterday's news conference and the visit to Louisiana today, but unless they do change it, it's a tremendous problem for them.
Al, when Congress returns from the Memorial Day break, it's going to take a look at funding for the war in Afghanistan. What's the outlook for that?
Well, Speaker Pelosi was in Afghanistan. She was there on Mother's Day visiting the troops. She met with President Karzai when he was over here, and she came away still having big questions about the mission and the Afghan government's commitment to reform and cleaning up corruption there. She's still a great skeptic about this Afghan adventure. As far as the war funding, the supplemental, she thinks it'll pass. However, it may have to pass without many, if not most, Democrats.
Al, quickly, the rest of the agenda for the rest of the term, the economic turmoil that's roiled global markets, including the U.S. markets. What did Speaker Pelosi have to say about that, specifically in terms of the deficit?
Well, great strain going on between desire to do more for jobs. We have 10% unemployment in America, and also this deficit problem, which people are bothered by. She said every appropriations bill will be deficit neutral and add to jobs. That'll be a neat trick if she can do it.
What about the estate tax?
Well, the estate tax, of course, there is no estate tax. So, Mark, right now, I mean, the good news is if you die, there's no estate tax. The bad news is you're dead. So I would not die to escape an estate tax, but it comes back with a vengeance next year, so they may want to cut some kind of a deal this year.
You're a good man, Al Hunt. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.